Welcome back to Ben Tennyson Ace Attorney Inverted Destiny. In the last episode, we completed the investigation. We found out that Maya Fey has been arrested again, and we're playing as someone who really does not want to get involved in any trials because he's got a bit of a backstory that we're probably going to find out more about as time goes on. And in the last episode, I actually started this trial without knowing that it's part of a series. But this is a part of a series where there's going to be 5 cases, I think. But this is the only one that's been made so far. So we're going to complete Turnabout Reformation. Hopefully, we can make a good start on it in today's episode. And yeah, let's begin. January 15th, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. I'm interested to see who the prosecutor's going to be in this trial, actually. We don't know that yet. Is it going to be a new character, or is it going to be an old favourite? And here we are. Feels like the last 3 times I got accused of murder all over again. Excuse me, 3 times? Oh, you didn't know? This isn't the first time Aunt Maya's been on trial. She survived murder accusations 3 other times. How bad is this woman's look? I'm used to it. It's like how the detective that solves all the cases also happens to be at the crime scenes each time, but they never get suspected. Like Murder, She Wrote's an infamous example. Another thing I also expect is a not guilty verdict. So if I end up kicking the bucket, you might find a ghost haunting you sometime soon. She's not serious, is she? Ah, there you guys are. Took me a while to find this lobby. Mr. Wright, you're here. Wait, why is he still dressed like a hobo? Wow, what a surprise, Nick. Did you finish your case already? Oh no, it's nothing like that. I just came to see how things were on this side of the fence. If I was done with my case, I would have taken over the defense at this point. Lovely amount of faith you've got in me there. I'm intrigued about what Felix's case is. It's got to be something important enough that he's leaving Maya's fate in someone else's hands. But if you aren't finished with your case, why are you still dressed like that, Daddy? Oh, I may have taken the wrong clothes when I left this morning. Honest mistake, I swear. Happens all the time. No, it doesn't. How did he not notice he was wearing the wrong clothes? I like this sprite better, you see. But let's put that business aside for now. What about you? Are you guys prepared? You know it, Daddy. We're gonna lay a smackdown on the prosecution's case. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. I could see you smacking the prosecutor, but his case? I'm still doubtful about that. Jeez, you're a real downer, aren't you? You have no idea. It's like every time I try to be honest, everyone hates me. I see. Well, ready or not, here we come. Makes no difference, really. Because with who the prosecutor is, this battle isn't going to be an easy one for you. Daddy, what do you mean? He's someone you know very well, Trucy. And he's pretty famous in other respects as well. Such as defeating me in court on his first case. So, Xavier Gavin. What? His first case? And he beat you? Must be insane to hear, right? The legendary attorney beaten by a 17-year-old. What? He's 17 and he beat you? You're supposed to be a super fan, Ben. How did you not know about this? Well, he was 17 at the time anyway. The guy would be around 27 or something by now. Still, pretty embarrassing, right? This is impossible, Mr. Wright. If this guy was able to beat you on his first case, what chance do I have? That's why I said that no matter which way you look at it, it's going to be a tough battle. Who cares about tough? The Write Anything Agency specializes in tough. I'll be out of here before the day is over. I'm not part of the Write Anything Agency, in case you've forgotten. You say that now, but I say it now and I mean it forever. I'm not joining you no matter what you say. You say that now as well, but you don't know how convincing I can be. Teehee. Okay, it's official. I'm scared of this girl. I would believe him, but I have seen that there's going to be other cases in this game, so I think he is going to end up joining somehow. Meta knowledge. Well, it seems like the court's going to convene soon. You better get in there. Oh, and good luck. You're going to need it? Exactly. How'd you know I was going to say that? I'd have to be pretty daft to not know that was what you were going to say. A prosecutor that could beat Mr. Wright at 17 and on his first case? There's no way I could beat someone like that, even with a finger as long as an electric pole. This is all gonna go horribly wrong, isn't it? Courtroom number 3. My favourite courtroom. Well, one of them. They all look the same to me, to be honest. This court is now in session for the trial of... Oh dear, Maya Fey! That's not a name I expected to grace these halls again. This young lady's penchant for trouble is still as active as ever, I see. So the judge is already familiar with Miss Fey, it seems. Oh, Maya used to be Daddy's assistant back in the day, so it's not all that surprising. Also, this judge is the judge of literally all but 2 of the cases. Huh, is that so? The more you know, I guess. As much as it pains me to say this, even if it's Miss Fey, I must still render an unbiased verdict. Whatever outcome the evidence shows today, I must deliver my verdict based on that outcome. I know, Your Honor. You have a job to do. We all do, in fact. So do your job and do it well. I'm glad we understand each other then. Guilty. Now, are the defense and prosecution ready to begin? Right, that's my cue then. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Or somewhat ready, anyway. Ooh, you're a face I've never seen before. Or one I expected. Given who the defendant is, I presumed Mr. Wright would be handling the defense for this case. He probably should, to be honest. My name is Ben Tennyson, Your Honor. Mr. Wright is preoccupied at the moment. You might have seen me on TV. So, he asked me to take care of this case on his behalf. Did he now? How interesting. Huh? Who's that? Oh, yeah. Whoop, bit of a glitch there. A defendant's chances of survival must be pretty low. Given that her Wright is hiring a 16-year-old boy to defend her, yeah? 16? The defense is 16? I didn't even think someone that young could be a lawyer. I'm not 16, I'm 22. I don't look that young, do I? Jeez, what's your problem? I'd personally be flattered if someone thought I was younger than I actually was. I actually want people to take me seriously, thank you. Sorry, I don't think we've met. Your name is... Ah, you've not heard of me, Herr Tennyson. Your words wound me. Worry not, I shall bring some enlightenment to your uncultured soul. Uncultured? Who does this pompous fop think he is? I know someone you get along with, and actually she's already in the court record. My name is XavierWright, Herr Clueless. I'm one of the biggest hits the prosecutor's office has ever seen. And a rock star to boot. No way. You're that XavierWright? As in the lead singer of the Governor? I think that's meant to be... Yeah. The Governors? So you have heard of him then? Of course I have! Everyone talked about him back in my old neighbourhood. And from what I understand, he's the prosecutor that beat Mr. Wright 10 years ago. Ah, so you have heard of me then. What a relief. For a moment, I had feared that you had been living under a rock for the entirety of your career. Yeah? Ja? My sister-in-law always listens to your music with my brother, so it's kinda hard not to know about you. I see. Your family has good taste. I'll be sure to give you an autograph to give to your brother's Fraulein after this case, yeah?
As nice as that sounds, Prosecutor Gavin, I do believe we have a trial to proceed with. If you would give us your opening statement, please.
Of course, Her Judge. I wouldn't have it any other way. Achtung, baby! Let's get this concert rolling! Does he have to be so dramatic about everything? Hey, you can't talk. You're always a downer about everything. I call that being objective, thank you. The stage has been set for us today is the illustrious Lordly Taylor. Our victim is a man who was calling the shots, Joseph Chadwell. He and the defendant had come into contact recently after a researcher living in Fraulein Fey's village had agreed to construct a piece for the Lordly Taylor Museum. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that the Fraulein Fey was particularly grateful for what was given to her. She stabbed Herr Chadwell with this knife and the poor soul died from blood loss.
Are there any fingerprints on the weapon?
I'm afraid not, Herr Judge. Fraulein Fey was either wearing gloves or she wiped them away. No need to worry, however. Fraulein Fey is the only one who could have committed this deed. That's an incontestable fact.
I see. Guilty. I assume you have evidence to support this, Prosecutor Gavin?
Ja, Herr Judge. I would not make a claim if I did not have the means to prove it. I'll allow my first witness to do the honours for me. Take the stage, Fraulein Sky. Welcome, Fraulein. Would you mind honouring us with your name and occupation? Emma Sky, homicide detective. And for the last time, do not call me Fraulein, fop. From her first sentence alone, I can already tell that Emma doesn't like Prosecutor Gavin. Point for me, I guess. Ach, I meant no offence, Detective Sky. Really, I did not. If you could give us your testimony, however, that would make all of our days. Well, it will make my day. Can't say the same for Tennyson. Yeah, whatever. For the record, I think this whole accusation is a load of baloney and Maya's innocent. Which is pretty much what Emma said, what we have Emma say in Ace of Turnabouts as well. Your Honor, for the record, I think this whole thing is bullshit. No amount of buttering is going to make me change my mind about that.
Your honesty is appreciated, Miss Sky, but I'd much prefer to hear your testimony if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, we've got Emma on our side now. Sorta? Sorta? I think she just doesn't like Gavin. I think this would just lead to the trial taking a hell of a long time. Ah, man. Facts. The victim, Joseph Chadwell, was stabbed in his own office. His office is outfitted with a security system that requires a specific tag to bypass it. This tag? If someone tried to enter without one, it would shut the door and alert the nearest security guard. The only people entrusted with the tags to the victim's office were a few guards and a defendant. And of that group, the defendant is the only one without an alibi. From this, the only conclusion is that Maya Fey is the culprit. Why was Maya given one of these in the first place? Did we learn that last time?
The victim's office was outfitted with a powerful security system. Why would he have something like that?
Trust me when I say this, Air Judge, the victim was far from a paranoid man. A few months ago, his office was broken into and important documents were stolen. It's not unreasonable for him to set up measures to prevent such a thing from happening again. And given the current case, his actions weren't entirely unjustified. I don't think paranoia is necessarily a bad thing if you've got reason for it, like in this case. Still seems kind of extreme, but maybe that's just me. He did die, to be fair. Come on. There's obviously something he knows about. Something... Or maybe he didn't even know about it, but he knew that someone was out to get him, I think. Incidentally, the security system kept track of who entered the victim's office and when. As you can see, the victim entered his office at around 6:30, with our pretty Fraulein entering shortly after. I think it's quite easy to deduce what happened, ja?
Yes, I suppose it is. It does seem like the defendant is the only plausible culprit. Mr. Tennyson, please begin the cross-examination.
Benji, something wrong? Huh? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. I also noticed that Eldoon is not in the profiles anymore, unfortunately, so we aren't going to get to accuse Eldoon of murder. He was my prime suspect. The prosecutor in charge of this case, also lead singer for the famous band The Gavin. Is it The Gaviniers? I'm pretty sure it's Gaviners. Anyway, I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up later. Huh? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. I'm just fine. Remind you of someone? I am, aren't I? Hold it. That sounds like yeah, that's Phoenix's but from Dual Destinies, I'm pretty sure. I'm not actually sure why they even changed the original Hold It, Objection, Take That's from the original trilogy. Like, was it something? Because like, I know in the originals it was actually people on the localization team who did the voice acting. I can't remember the name of Phoenix's voice actor, but I'm pretty sure I heard him talk about in a podcast how he was actually recording all this in like a closet or something, I think. And it took him hours to get the right take. So all that work, and he doesn't even get longevity in the new trilogy. Anyway, where is the victim's office exactly? It's just about 3 floors up from the crime exhibit. Incidentally, the victim's office is next to the security office, which is why the person manning is a reliable witness. Rosalith Marie. To make one thing clear, the person's manning the security office is not an official employee. So she didn't have the necessary tag to enter the victim's office. This is just in case the defense wishes to make an embarrassing accusation. Thanks, Gavin. Real helpful. Come on, there must be some way she could have done it. You have to think of something, Benji. But there's nothing to come up with. If Marie didn't have a tag, then she couldn't have gotten inside. So, that would mean... It has to be Eldoon, but he's not even in the profile, so I can't accuse him. I have to ask, why does it use something like a security tag anyway? Why don't you use something more conventional, like a keycard? I don't know, really. Maybe the victim wanted a more unique system? Believe it or not, if you know your way around tech, keycards are quite easy to bypass. And something like a security tag would be a lot more difficult to circumvent. Clever in a way. I think so too. Maybe we should get something like it for the agency. Why? Isn't the point to let people walk in and show off what they can do? This happens if you enter without a tag, you say? Yep. Though the alarm can be triggered manually, and it's pretty much have the same effect. The witness to the crime did exactly that, and a guard came running. And he saw tied his fate to the ground.
What? That's an excessive use of force. Someone should teach this guard a lesson in proper etiquette.
Why do I feel like he thinks that someone should be him?
I will bash him with my gavel.
Rest assured, Herr Judge, I've seen to it that the guard in question received a reprimand. However, that isn't very relevant at this moment, so I believe we should move on. Not relevant? Those meanies hurt Aunt Maya. That sounds very relevant to me. Yeah. Yes, of course, Fraulein. Like I said, I've personally seen to it that the guard in question received a reprimand. No need to worry your pretty little hat, yeah? Yay! Thanks, Prosecutor Gavin. Do I have to keep pointing out how much this girl scares me? Scares Gavin, too. Are you sure that's all the people who are on attack? Maybe there's someone you haven't looked at. Sorry to disappoint you, Tennyson. However, we can assure you that this is everyone who had a tag. A detective, there's one in particular that stands out, yeah? I'm afraid so. Some guards and the defendant had tags to the victim's office. And you're sure of this? You know from what I told you yesterday that I am. We checked the footage. The guards have alibis. Come on, we can't give up just yet. There's gotta be something we haven't looked at yet. Trucy. Only possible culprit. Maya Fey. Something wrong, Tennyson? You're looking quite lost. Yeah, I'm fine. We have nothing. No, there's nothing here. I think this testimony effectively established the means our pretty Fraulein had to kill the victim.
Yes, I suppose you're right, Prosecutor Gavin. However, at the risk of sounding biased, I still find it hard to believe that Miss Fey of all people would kill. Do you have any kind of motive that would explain why she would commit such a heinous act?
I'm afraid at this time a motive is currently lost on us, Judge. However, that matters not to me, because who needs a motive when we have decisive evidence? Decisive evidence? Why didn't I hear anything about this before? Because there's no discovery phase in these trials, for some reason. Indeed, so decisive that I may not even need to call my next witness. Fraulein Sky, if you wouldn't mind. I'm really sorry about this, guys. This promises to be intriguing. I'm afraid we have a piece of evidence that would decisively suggest Maya Fey is the killer. When searching the victim's person, we found this piece of fabric in his hands that has traces of his blood. The fabric is the same material as the defendant's clothes. We believe the victim and the defendant fought, which led to the former tearing this fabric away. Aside from the fabric, nothing else was found on the victim's body. No, this can't be. There you have it, Herr Judge. Irrefutable proof of Maya Fey's guilt.
It certainly seems that way. As much as I don't want to admit it, I can't imagine another reason why a piece of Miss Fey's clothing would be on the victim's person if she hadn't had some physical altercation with him. At least that's what it seems to me. The court shall accept his fabric as evidence.
Apparently ripped from Miss Fey's robe by the victim. There are traces of his blood still on it.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
I've seen better testimony, you know. Come on, Benji, let's tear it apart. This is Emma you're talking about, jeez. Ben? What's wrong? I can't. Not again. If I do, if I continue this defense, then another guilty person will...
Mr. Tennyson, what's wrong? We're all waiting for you to begin.
Your Honor, defense rests. Wait, what? Huh? You heard me. The defense is satisfied that Maya Fey is guilty. What?
But Mr. Tennyson, you haven't even cross-examined the witness yet.
I don't need a cross-examination. The conclusion is obvious. I can't do it. I won't. I won't set another guilty person free.
I see. Well, if the defense truly rests, then I must bring these proceedings to an end.
No, the defense absolutely does not rest. Trucy?
I'm sorry to say it, Miss Wright, but Mr. Tennyson is the defense attorney here, not you. If he decides to submit a plea of guilty to all charges, it is his right to do so.
Shouldn't that be the defendant who... I don't know. Maya should really just toss him out and find a new lawyer at this point. Come on. What the hell are you doing? You haven't cross-examined Emma yet. What's the point? She's obviously guilty. All the evidence points to her. What kind of a lawyer are you? A unique character, actually, because normally it's like, we've got to find this person not guilty at all costs until that comes back to bite Phoenix later. with the On Guard case. In this case, it's no, it's pretty obvious she did it. I'm giving up on this. You're not even trying to look for an alternate explanation. What possible alternate explanation could there be for her clothing to be in the victim's hand? How can you still say she's innocent in the face of all this decisive evidence? Because I know Aunt Maya. I know she would never kill anyone. I know her better than you, at least. Trucy, I understand how you feel, but you need to face the cold, hard truth. Sometimes it's the people you think you know that end up hurting you the most. I can't believe this. Why did I ever want you to join us? You're no lawyer, you're a selfish jerk. Shut up! A true lawyer always stands by their clients no matter what, but your clients clearly mean nothing to you if you just run away at the first sign of danger. Benjamin Tennyson, I'll never forgive you. Never! Trucy.
I must say this is the shortest trial I've participated in. But since the defense pleads guilty, I don't see any further reason to keep going here.
Your Honor, please. I didn't kill anyone. I swear I didn't. You have to believe me. Could we not try examining her clothes and see if there's any traces of something being ripped off?
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Fey. You, of course, have the right to make an appeal to the higher instance court. But at this stage, I must declare the verdict to be...
Sorry, Judge, but I'm not satisfied with the outcome of this trial. Prosecutor Gavin?
But, Mr. Gavin, I was about to end the trial in your favour.
I'm aware of that, Judge. However, I believe a testimony without scrutiny is like a floor that hasn't been scrubbed. It's not clean, and it won't ever be until all traces of doubt have been wiped away. Tennyson! What? Can you say it with complete confidence that all doubt has been scrubbed from this testimony? What's the big idea? I thought you were the one who's supposed to prove Miss Fey guilty. While that may be true, I would not feel comfortable if that conviction came from faulty testimony. If you truly are a lawyer, you should know the truth prevails over all. Yeah? The truth? I always knew that, but the truth isn't as cut and dry as most people think. It can be manipulated, twisted, distorted. And yet Prosecutor Gavin, he's pushing me to continue. Because he doesn't believe the full truth has been found. And yet with the evidence shown, it's clear Miss Fey is the only one who could have done it. But Pen, please, I know you have to be better than that. You don't really want to give up this easy, do you? When I look at her face, even I must admit to it myself. It's hard for me to stick her with the label of murderer. But what if it's an act? What if she's just feigning that sweet smile in order to get me to drop my guard and... Damn it, I hate this. I hate feeling so conflicted. For once, I just want there to be a simple answer. Why did you become a lawyer in the first place, especially in this universe, if you want simple answers? God damn it, what do I do? Ooh, this is interesting. I want to see what happens, so I've made a save point. I'm going to say abandon the defense. I told you before, and I'll tell you again. The defense rests. That's my final answer.
That's enough, Prosecutor Gavin. If Mr. Tennyson has no desire to continue, then I have no cause to prolong these proceedings. With that said, this court declares the defendant Maya Fey.
Yeah. No fake out. It's...
The accused will surrender herself to the court immediately to be held pending trial at a higher court in a month's time. That is all. This court is adjourned.
And just like that, everything came to an end. Miss Fey was declared guilty, and the case was closed. Or so I thought, anyway. Mr. Wright later made an appeal to the higher court for Miss Fey's case. It was accepted, and Miss Fey was granted a retrial. And do you want to know what happened in the retrial? Miss Fey was found innocent. Innocent! And what's worse, Mr. Wright found the actual culprit behind the whole case. Trucy was right. I am selfish, and I'm no true lawyer. I nearly ruined an innocent woman's life because of my own personal problems. If there was any doubt in my mind about being unworthy to be a lawyer, it's gone now. I don't deserve my badge anymore, if I ever did. It's time for me to put it away and let the professionals handle it. Ooh. Spoiler alert, Maya Fey is actually innocent, who would have thought? Anyway, we'll we'll continue the defense, don't worry. We're not going to end the video there. Why did I become a lawyer in the first place? It was a silly reason, really. But I wanted to be a hero. And then I read about Mr. Wright, and he was my biggest inspiration. I studied day and night, hoping to become just like him one day. And the day I got my badge, well, not sure if it was the happiest day of my life, but I was proud of myself. He gets his badge, he's like, well, you know, this is one of the days that happened, you know? This is one of the things that happened in my life. But I'm betraying the very beliefs I wanted to uphold. I can't change the past. It's already been written and the ink is dry. But that doesn't mean the future has been set in stone. I'm scared that if I keep going, another guilty person will go free because of me. But if I give up here, a similar thing will happen. I'll risk letting a killer walk free while an innocent takes their place. No, I can't let that happen. Not ever again. You're about to... Yeah, you was about to face the opposite problem. I say about to, he did. We just time traveled and stopped this from happening. Your Honor, the defense would like to retract its earlier remarks.
You'd like to... Huh?
I think I made myself perfectly clear. The defense will cross-examine Detective Emma Skye.
Order! I will have order immediately or I'll clear the gallery! I'll shoot all you motherfuckers! Mr. Tennyson, what caused the sudden change of heart?
Isn't it obvious, Judge? Tennyson has finally realized it's time to join the fray. I don't think we're anyone to deny him that right, yeah?
I suppose not. Very well. In light of the defense's sudden change of play, these proceedings shall continue.
Alright. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for not giving up on me. No problem, Miss Fey. Sit tight and I'll get you out of here. Sit tight? Sorry, I'm not good at that. Mind scooting over? Wait, Miss Fey, what are you doing? Come on, let's give Mr. Rockstar a whoop for. How did she do that? Nah, doesn't matter. I needed new assistance anyway since Trucy ran off. Speaking of which, I should probably apologize to her later. Well, now that we have all that business sorted out... Fraulein Skye, it's time for you to take the stage again. What is this evidence? Ka-tonk! Hey! I don't like being interrupted, kid. Let me finish before asking questions. Duly noted. Sorry, we have to press everything. Even the statements we already know the answer. Now, how does a piece of fabric prove anything? It proves a great deal, actually, when you consider its origin. But like I said, we need to examine Maya's clothes, so how can you be sure they're really the same material? Not only did we compare the piece of fabric to the pretty Fraulein's robes, Tennyson, but I'm sure if you ask your client, she can confirm this for you. What, Miss Fey? I can't lie, that does look exactly like a piece of my robes. But I swear I have no idea how it got there. A likely story, Fraulein, but we know exactly how that piece of fabric got there. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Would it really be that easy to just rip away a part of Miss Fey's robes like that? I don't know. Why don't you ask her? She is right next to you. Miss Fey? Well, I wouldn't say it's entirely impossible. Oh, great. Nothing else was found? Are you sure about that? Sure as I can be, scientifically speaking. What does science have to do with anything? Is there something else he should have had? Well, this is Joseph Chapwell entered with the tag records, right? Yeah. And so you should have one of these tags. That's said though, nothing else was on. I feel something else about that. So the killer stole his security tag and took it with them when they left, obviously, because how else are they going to get out? Somehow must have edited the records from the security office, which means it must be here. Because it can't be Aldoon. We know it can't be Aldoon. He was my prime suspect. Contradiction, maybe? This testimony makes no sense. I know I didn't fight with Joseph, so how did a piece of my robe end up in his hands? I don't know that yet, but right now I feel like there's a bigger concern here. Huh? I think I've noticed something strange in testimony. Something that makes me kind of embarrassed that I nearly gave up on you. Hey, it's fine. I don't hold it against you. For now, let's milk whatever you found and stick it in Hair Rockstar's face. Right. Time to bust out some evidence. So, should we present the tag records or the tag itself, I think? Probably the tag itself.
Objection!
Objection. Huh. To think I wanted to give up so easily. To think I actually did in an alternate timeline. But I finally realized what I need to do. I'm gonna tear this testimony to shreds. Detective Sky! Huh? What is it? You're positive that the victim was carrying nothing else on him when you searched his body? Absolutely sure. Well, yes. Why do you ask? I see. So there truly was nothing else. Now call me crazy, but that doesn't sound right at all. Huh? What are you talking about, Tennyson?
I think I'd also appreciate an explanation, Mr. Tennyson.
Detective Sky, you told me that everyone who enters the victim's office needs a security tag, including the victim himself, correct? I suppose I did say that, yeah.
What point are you trying to make here, Mr. Tennyson?
My point, Your Honor, is that the victim needed his tag to get in the office, which would mean he would have been carrying it on his person. Yet Detective Sky told us that besides the fabric, nothing else was found on the victim's person. No way, I completely missed that. No, this can't be. Oh, but it can be, Prosecutor Gavin. With this contradiction in mind, we're left with one conclusion. The victim could not have entered his own office. Impossible!
Order in the court! Mr. Tennyson, what could this possibly mean?
It's quite simple math to think about, Your Honor. If the victim wasn't carrying his security tag, how did he get inside his office? It's possible that Maya Fey took the tag off the victim's body. What would be the point of that? Miss Fey already has a tag of her own. But if we want to rule out the possibility completely, Detective Sky, did you find the victim's tag on Miss Fey's person? Happy to disappoint you, Fop. No. Besides Miss Fey's tag, we did not find any of the tag on her. And yes, we did confirm that the tag found on her to be hers. Gah! Fräulein Sky, are you sure there wasn't a tag on the victim's body? 100% sure, scientifically speaking. I can even double check for you. Maybe she ate the tag. No need, Fräulein, I've got a better idea. Hey, Tennyson, how do you explain this inconsistency? Do you really think you can explain it, Ben? I might have an idea. Whether or not it'll actually work, though, is no time to doubt yourself. Show them what you can do. Right then. The defense is prepared to explain this issue. There's only one possible reason for this discrepancy. Trucy did. Alright, I have to. Absolutely not.
Where did that penalty come from?
Don't worry about it, Your Honor. Anyway, we'll time travel a little bit there. The victim isn't dead. That one's pretty funny as well. It's obvious. The victim isn't really... She actually said it. Oh yes, what an immaculate theory. I suppose we just sent some random rocker to the morgue then. This entire case has been a waste of time. Well done for showing us the way, Tennyson. Yeah, that probably wasn't the best answer. Please allow me to try that again. The victim was killed somewhere else is an interesting one, actually. So, like, they killed him, took the tag, and then took them both through at 6:30. He left the body then, went back out with Chadwell's tag. Maybe this only shows people going in. Yeah, it shows people who entered the office, doesn't show people who left. So, yeah, that actually makes sense. And more sense, I wish they'd have put someone ate the tag as one of the answers. The only answer that makes sense is the victim was killed somewhere else. If he was, then that means the suspect pool isn't so narrow after all. A lovely theory here, Tennyson, but one that contains a striking contradiction. Even if Chadwell was murdered elsewhere from where he was found, there's no denying that his body somehow ended up in his office. Which would mean, if your theory is to be believed, his body was moved. I suppose, what's the problem with that? The problem is where the crime took place. Lord Taylor is, as I'm sure you'll agree, a very large establishment. Do you really think it's possible to move a corpse without being spotted? Remember, there are guards and cameras stationed at every possible corner.
That would be pretty difficult, wouldn't it? Well, Mr. Tennyson, can you explain away this contradiction?
Easily. Can you really? It's actually quite simple when you get down to it. This obviously means the victim was murdered somewhere very close to his office. Close enough that no one would notice his body being moved there. Do you really believe such a location exists? I do. In fact, if it's the location I'm thinking of, then I can think of only one person who could have committed this murder. It was in the security room right next door.
It seems the defense is prepared to make accusation. Very well then. Mr. Tennyson, who do you name as the true culprit of this murder?
It was a suicide. No. I can't name Eldun. I'm sorry. It's impossible. He's erased from the records. Eldun erased himself from the records so he wouldn't get caught. What a bastard. A place close to the victim's office, only one area comes to mind. The security room seems like the perfect candidate, don't you think? I suppose. What does that... No, you can't be serious. Oh, but I am. The security room is the crime scene, and the person stationed in it becomes a suspect. And there was only one person in it that night. The true culprit of this case is none other than Rosalith Murray. The blue-haired liberal.
Order in the court! Mr. Tennyson, who is this Rosalith Murray?
What game are you trying to play here, Tennyson? Fraulein Marie is my witness. You accuse her before she even comes to the stand. Who she is doesn't matter. The fact is, if the crime scene was indeed the security room, then she's the most likely suspect. Still, it doesn't explain how she got the body inside the victim's office. That's easy to explain too. Once she killed the victim, she took his tag off his body. She then walked in his office, disabled the security system, and dragged his body inside. She then reactivated the system and left the room with the body inside. With this possibility in mind, Miss Fey is no longer the only suspect. Your case falls flat, Gavin. Actung! I never expected things to turn out like this.
Prosecutor Gavin!
It seems, Judge, we'll need to hear Fraulein Marie's testimony after all.
It would certainly seem so, yes. In that case, the court will adjourn for a recess while you prepare the witness. Will 15 minutes be sufficient, Mr. Gavin?
Plenty, Judge.
Very good. In that case, court is adjourned.
District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Number 1. Wow, I can't believe we're still alive. I thought the judge was gonna shoot us for a moment there. You're not half bad, kiddo. Yeah, I guess. Look, I'm, sorry for what I did in there. What, almost giving up on me? Nah, it's fine. I don't hold it against you. If anything, that whole thing is leaving me more curious. Curious? Yeah, seriously. When you said that you were giving up, you looked scared out of your mind. What was that all about? Well, we're probably gonna need a flashback case later on in the series about that. Trucy. Listen, sorry. For the things I said and almost giving up on Miss Fey. But defense in there was good. Listen, I'm sorry too for yelling at you. Aunt Maya's right. I kind of forgot it in my rage, but you did look really scared. Terrified even. Maybe if I wasn't so rash. No, of course not. Listen, it was my fault for acting like a coward in the first place. The solution was obvious, and rather than trying, I gave up. But I've learned my lesson now, and I promise I won't give up on Miss Fey again. That's right, Trucy. Let bygones be bygones. Are you sure? Of course I am. I'm seeing this case through. Scouts on it. Yay! Thank you, Ben. No problem. You good then? You bet. Come here, old boy. Wait, what? Ugh! Trucy's got a strong grip, that's for sure. Heh. Looks like things are back on track for us, huh? More or less. Thing is, I'm not entirely sure how to prove that Marie did it. The evidence I have is entirely circumstantial, not anything concrete. That's fine. Nick made loads of progress in case with circumstantial evidence. All you have to do is yell at the witness and then they'll go, "Oh, I did it, alright, I did it. I killed him. Are you happy though?" Again, I'm not Mr. Right. Either way though, the possibility is very, well, possible. To be fair, the prosecution does have some circumstantial evidence. This knife doesn't even have fingerprints on it. Well, they're smudge fingerprints. The fabric apparently ripped from Miss Fey's robe. Again, they haven't actually checked the robe from the sprite anyway, which I wouldn't expect to be edits on the sprite. You know, does that look like it's had something ripped from it? No. There's traces of blood, his blood on it, but yeah, do we have any trace of blood on her costume again? I don't know. I don't think it's really possible to rip a piece of fabric. This fabric is going to be from something else, I bet. It's going to be something else that's got purple fabric. She's not wearing purple, is she? I don't think so. But it's going to be something else with purple fabric, and we're going to use that to turn the case around. Turn the case around. I've got to find some way to make it stick. Come to think of it, that Marie girl, I did see her around a few times. And she and Joseph acted kind of weird around each other at times. Weird? Why is that? I don't know. Maybe they were secretly lovers? Why suggest that of all things? Mr. Tennyson, the trial's about to reconvene. Please return to the courtroom. Alright, coming. Ready to go, Trucy? You bet. Let's rock and roll. Careful. Prosecutor Gavin might sue you for copyright infringement. Rosalith Murray. If you are the culprit, what is your motive, I wonder? I suppose we're about to find out. Probably something to do with this will. Oh, and I should probably include information about the victim's missing tag. Mr. Chadwell's is missing. And my current running theory is that she just ate it. So the will is from this guy. And did I hear... I remember something about him having a daughter, and I think I suspected that it was her. So it's some family business. January 15th, District Court, Courtroom number 3.
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Maya Fey. Both sides, I assume, are sufficiently prepared?
More or less. You know it, Herr Judge. I should preface this by saying that the Fraulein Marie has not taken kindly to this murder accusation. Does anyone take kindly to murder accusations? Took the words right out of my mouth. I am merely stating this to say, for your sake, Herr Tennyson, this better not be a waste of time.
An unnecessary, but nonetheless appreciated preface, Prosecutor Gavin. Now then, your witness.
Ja, Herr Judge. Fraulein Marie, it's time for you to take the stage. I dreaded ending up here. Lovely, Fraulein, you want my name and occupation? Yes, yes. Rosa this Marie, I work for a security company. Can we make this fast? There's a million places I'd rather be, and here's not one of them.
Now see here, young lady. Well, in this courtroom, you will give the authority figures the respect they deserve.
She hasn't even been here for 5 minutes and she's already on the judge's bad side. Maya, sorry, didn't mean to cause offence. It's just, the prosecutor insists on acting flamboyantly over dramatic, which takes too much time. Wow, you can tell just by looking at him, Prosecutor Gavin really felt that one. I suppose he's used to girls fawning over him and insulting him. Very well, Fraulein. If you want to make things fast, let's make things fast. I'm sure you're aware of the accusation Herr Tennyson made against you. Yes, obviously. And since you're inevitably going to ask me, I do deny the accusation. It's absurd. It's really quite that simple. She's so confident, so calm. She must really think your accusation is a pile of garbage, huh? If that's the case, we'll see who's garbage after I tear her testimony apart. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. You seem so much more confident, Benji. I'm so happy. I'm back. I'm back.
In that case, we will need to hear your testimony. Please respond to the accusations made by the defense.
If I must. I'll put my best poshy voice for this woman. My rebuttal. Your accusation against me is based entirely on the security room being close to the crime scene. But you saw it yourself. There's no traces of a crime being committed there. I won't have any time to clean up the scene, so your argument falls into water. A short but effective rebuttal. I can also confirm a Fraulein's statement that there were no traces of a crime in the security room. Though I believe you probably should have known that already. What now, Benji? They've got us back into a corner here. Isn't it obvious? We tear down her testimony right here and now. Wow, such conviction. I love it. Be careful though. I don't think she has any intention of pulling any punches. I'm not entirely sure what to do with this testimony in particular, but I think I've got an idea of where I may need to look. Hopefully, anyway. You sure? Because I don't. I'm just going to press, like I always do. Press everything. That's exactly right. Like I said, the victim's body must have been moved to his office. Because of that, he had to be somewhere close to the crime scene. It's interesting we're getting the Allegro music now. Is this trial going to be over sooner than expected? I mean, it is only case one. Yeah, because were it anywhere else, moving the body without being seen would be a difficult task. I really like this trial music anyway, so this is fine by me. This is up there with the best Allegros. In the last case we played Malleus. Another one of my favourite Allegros from Great Ace Attorney. That would mean you're saying that the true crime scene is the security office. How is this in any way, shape or form a problem? All you had to do was clean up the scene. The overconfidence of youth. Hey, you are that much older than me, you know. You'd like to think it's that simple, wouldn't you? But it's really not. What do you mean by that? Well, let's think logically, shall we? The murder took place at around 6:40, yes? And the guard who called the police did so at about 6:50. Take a look here. It's already 6:40 if you assume mine hit. 6:30, Joseph Chapwell. And the minimum time he could have died was 6 p.m. That's at least 30 minutes to clean up. So I think we've got contradiction here. You're telling me I killed Joseph, dragged his body to his office, cleaned the security room, all in a 10-minute window, while somehow framing the defendant in the process? That does sound kind of messy when you put it like that. It does, doesn't it? So she says she couldn't have cleaned up the scene because the murder took place at 6:40, which would only have left 10 minutes for any tampering. Is there anything wrong with that? I think there is. Wait a second. Something isn't right with what you just said. Oh, really no? Yes, indeed. I'm afraid your statement doesn't mesh well with this piece of evidence. We're actually going to use the time of death for once as a piece of evidence. You say the murder occurred at 6:40. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. What? It's true because of the tag records, the time of death was assumed to be around 6:40. However, according to the autopsy report, the actual time of death was between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So if the crime scene wasn't the victim's office, the tag records don't mean much anymore. In other words, you have plenty of time to clean up the scene. Yeah.
Order in the court! Order! I would suppose that would leave some time for a crime scene to be cleaned up, yes.
But even if that's true, you can't prove that happened. Are you challenging me, Miss Moran? Because for your information, it's actually relatively simple for us to verify if this happened or not. What do you think we'd find if we were to run a luminol test on the office? I knew this was coming. Yeah, just spray that spray all over the place and find all the blood there. Penchi, you're on fire today. Surprised Emma didn't do that already, considering she's the investigator. If a crime really took place there, then chances are there would have been loads of blood. And if there was, then a luminol test should reveal them, right? Exactly my train of thought, Trucy. I see. So, well, I suppose there's no harm in entertaining this little theory of yours. Fraulein Sky, if you wouldn't mind. On it. What if they find nothing? That'll be the... Wait, just a damn minute. Even if there are traces of a crime in the security office, that doesn't mean I'm the culprit. I just remembered. I left the room for a bit of bathroom break. You're going to be the one who needs a lawyer in a minute, come on. One of the guards must have snuck in and... They all have alibis. I'm sorry, Fraulein, but that's not going to wash. Huh? Whose side are you on, Rock Boy? When it comes to the truth, Fraulein, I pick no sides. I merely wish to state a fact that invalidates your argument. That is, like the Fraulein detective said, every guard was there that night and has a solid alibi. Save for the guard who came running to the scene, the cameras proved that none of them were somewhere they should not have been. In other words, if Herr Tennyson's theory is true and the actual crime scene was the security room, then you, Fraulein, by process of elimination, are the only possible culprit. After all, no one can account for what you were doing since you were by yourself. And before you might suggest that someone who was not supposed to be there was there, the cameras again denounced that possibility. Could it be the other guards? The one that Lee says came running to the scene now? The one who tied Maya up? And if he tied Maya up, that would have been a good chance to rip off this piece of fabric if it really did come from her costume. Because it does seem a bit too obvious that we just blatantly accused her and it turned out to be her. Maybe one of the guards is him in disguise. That'll be interesting. Is that clear enough for you? Or maybe it was Eldoon. Come on, it's gonna turn out to really be Eldoon. Come on, you turncoat. Well, Prosecutor Gavin is helping us. Does he think that Maureen did it too?
I'm still slightly confused. If this witness truly is the culprit, what exactly is her motive?
And her motive is going to be something we find out next time So stay tuned, and we'll get to the bottom of this. Bye.